When people ask, what was the first presidential debate in American history? The typical answer they receive is that the first presidential debates occurred during the election of 1960, where presidential candidates John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon held 4 debates, labeled the Great Debates, to convince undecided voters on who to support. Others may also answer that the first technical-ish presidential debate occurred in 1956, when Eleanor Roosevelt, speaking on behalf of Democrat presidential candidate Adlai Stevenson, debated Margaret Chase Smith, who, speaking on behalf of the incumbent Republican president Dwight D. Eisenhower. Both of these answers, however, are kind of wrong, as I believe the first presidential debate actually occurred in 1908, when William Howard Taft ran against William Jennings Bryan for the presidency. So welcome to the YouTube channel, The Whig, and today I'm going to try to prove to you how the first presidential debate really occurred during the presidential election of 1908. While often overshadowed by the infinitely more interesting presidential election of 1912, the 1908 presidential election was actually very important to American history, because this would actually be the first presidential election where both major party candidates actively hit the campaign trail, holding rallies across the nation. Before this, presidential candidates did not campaign much, if at all. Most of them just stayed at their house and took questions from the press, while other representatives performed the actual campaigning. This strategy is often called a front porch campaign, and while it was highly effective, especially if the press is in a certain candidate's favor, it left the people feeling disconnected from their distant champions. By the early 20th century, the public wanted to better know their presidential candidates, who they were, what they looked like, how they behaved, and how they talked. In other words, the public wanted politicians to be more open. The Democrat candidate in 1908, William Jennings Bryan, had run for president twice before, and he was among the first to adopt the Stump speech campaigning strategy, where he would give rallies across the nation, delivering his message directly to the excited populace. Taft saw Bryan's success using this strategy and endeavored to imitate his opponent. Soon both candidates held huge rallies that attracted thousands who were eager to hear the possible future president. This marks the first time, as I said before, that both major party candidates actively campaigned using the Stump speech strategy that is so common today. You might be wondering, however, what exactly does this have to do with the first presidential debate? But this really has everything to do with it. You see, Taft and Bryan were not the only people who recognized that the populace desired to know their presidential candidates more personally. And many entrepreneurs sought to capitalize on this. One such individual was Thomas Alva Edison, inventor of the first effective light bulb, motion pictures, and most importantly for this video, the phonograph, a device that could play a recorded sound similar to, if not exactly like, a record player. Edison believed he could gain large sums of money off of records featuring Taft and Bryan's voices, due to the public's aforementioned appetite to better learn about their presidential candidates. After some debate, Edison was able to get both Taft and Bryan on board with the plan, and records featuring the two candidates' voices were subsequently released to the public with great fanfare. This offered an opportunity for many to hear a presidential candidate's voice for the first time. And here are actually some of those recordings.
The Republican platform recommends the adoption of a postal savings bank system. The government guarantee will bring out of hoarding places much money which may be turned into wealth-producing capital and will be a great incentive for thrift.
Mr. Chairman and gentlemen of the committee, I can never fully discharge the debt of gratitude which I owe to my countrymen for the honors which they have so generously bestowed upon me. But, sirs, whether it be my lot to occupy the high office for which the convention has named me, or to spend the remainder of my days in private life, it shall be my constant ambition and my controlling purpose to aid in realizing the high ideals of those whose wisdom and courage and sacrifices brought this republic into existence.
The phonograph records were a hugely popular success, it appears. But more importantly, they would create one of the most important political traditions in modern America, the presidential debate. You see, another entrepreneur decided to capitalize on these new phonograph recordings and create a kind of theoretical debate between William Howard Taft and William Jennings Bryan. And this is a direct quotation from the Edison Phonograph Monthly, who reported on this instance. One of the most unique affairs ever held in this country took place in Foster's Opera House, Des Moines, Iowa, on October 9th. It was announced as the first phonograph debate in history, and was in fact a joint debate between Mr. Bryan and Mr. Taft, carried on by means of Edison phonographs. The affair was arranged by Des Moines Capital, and was carried out with cooperation of the Hopkins Bros. Company. The Opera House was packed with an audience of 1,500 persons, all of whom seemed much pleased with the affair. The machines were plainly heard in all parts of the house. If this story is true, which it likely is, then this would mark the first time in American history where we would have a presidential debate. After all, we have two candidates, and while their voices are pre-recorded, they are debating certain issues. So I believe that this could possibly count as the first presidential debate. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. I have my source. I will probably have my source in the comment section below. Or not in the comments, but in the description. I may not have like the exact link in there because YouTube's weird about putting in non-YouTube links, but I will have like the author and the title of the article and things like that on it. But again, tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that this is the first presidential debate? Do you think this actually happened in 1956? Or do you think it happened in 1960? Tell me what you think in the comment section below. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider checking out my previous videos and subscribing if you want to. But anyways, that's the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed.